A long time ago, in a little village at the edge of a deep forest, lived a little girl with her mother. Wherever she went, she always wore a lovely bright red cloak. So the villagers called her Little Red Riding Hood.
Hello, Little Red Riding Hood. How are you today?
I am doing just fine. How are you doing?
Little Red Riding Hood was very friendly and loved making new friends. Everyone in the village knew her well. But there was a very wicked wolf who often watched her.
There is that Little Red Riding Hood. I will keep my eyes on her.
Oh my! Such lovely flowers!
One morning, Little Red Riding Hood asked her mother if she could visit her grandmother. Her mother thought that was a wonderful idea, and so she made some pancakes that Little Red Riding Hood could take to her granny.
That is so nice of you, dear. I will pack you some pancakes.
I am finally going to meet my grandmother!
Mother did worry about Little Red Riding Hood because she was so friendly. She gave Little Red Riding Hood a wicker basket full of goodies to take with her, and she also gave her a warning not to talk to strangers.
Remember to go straight to Granny's house, and most importantly, do not talk to any strangers on the way.
I won't, Mommy. I promise.
As Little Red Riding Hood was walking through the forest, she found a beautiful patch of wildflowers. She knew Granny would love to have some of them.
How lovely! I must pick some flowers for Granny.
She sat for a while, enjoying the summer day amongst the flowers and watching the brightly colored butterflies and gold-colored fish, when suddenly a wolf appeared beside her. He spoke to Little Red Riding Hood in his most friendly voice.
Hello, my little girl. Where are you going? It is starting to get dark out.
I'm going to my grandmother. She lives at the end of this road. I must hurry.
The wolf came up with a plan right then and there, and he did not want Little Red Riding Hood to get to Granny's house before he did.
Wait, why don't you collect some nuts and cherries for your granny?
What a wonderful idea!
Everything is going as per my plan.
A little later, Little Red Riding Hood reached her granny's house. She knocked on the door.
Granny, it is me, Little Red Riding Hood. I have come to visit you.
Hello.
When she entered the house, she did not recognize the devious wolf who was dressed in her granny's clothes and was sleeping in her bed.
Granny, what big eyes you have!
All the better to see you with, dear.
Little Red Riding Hood noticed Granny's big ears and big teeth, and so she mentioned these to Granny. Then, all of a sudden, Granny jumped out of bed and tried to eat her. It was then that she noticed that Granny was, in fact, the big, bad wolf.
Granny, what big ears you have! Granny, what big teeth you have!
All the better to hear you with, and all the better to eat you with.
Little Red Riding Hood turned around and ran out of the cottage, calling for help. A woodcutter was in the neighborhood, and the moment he heard the terrified scream, he rushed for help.
Help! Help me!
You cannot run from me. Ow!
The woodcutter fought with the mean wolf, who then ran into the forest and was never to return.
That wolf will not hurt anyone ever again.
Thank you, sir. I am so happy that you helped me.
At last, Little Red Riding Hood was with her grandmother. Grandma kissed the little girl and took her inside the cottage.
Oh, dear. I'm so glad you are safe from that big, bad wolf.
Oh, Granny, I love you so much.
That evening, Granny, Little Red Riding Hood, and the woodcutter enjoyed their supper together. Little Red Riding Hood had learnt her lesson and never spoke to strangers thereafter.
I will never talk to strangers ever again.
Good to hear that, child.
Little girl, if you ever need my help, I will be in the cottage nearby.